Yo, what's going on, everybody? Handy Scripture Talk. It's been a little bit of time since we've popped on the live stream and chatted with you guys. I'm just gonna share this out to the X, and then we'll share it out. Yeah, we're just going to share it out real quick, and then we're going to cover some things real quick. I don't want to make it a really long stream. I just wanted to really make an update video for my family, for everybody on here that's still kicking it. Just, yeah, want to chat a bit about what the short and long term, I think, outlook at what's going on in the markets right now. We can see, you know, a lot of people are devastated and a lot of people are concerned. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of insane to see that the aggregated interest is just, open interest is just going up as price is going down. So some crazy things happening for sure. This is kind of what we had lined up in the charts. The last time we took a look at the charts was a few weeks ago, you know, and I hope you guys appreciate the time that I've taken to sort of sit on the sidelines for now, to watch and see how things play out and what kind of comes next. So one thing I'll say for sure is this is something that we said to watch out for, that this blue line at 19.2 was a concern, and then we came back down and bounced off the 200 daily, and it just rocketed since. I mean, a 50% move we had on Friday, and we have yet to see what the market opens at tomorrow morning on Monday. Although I know that the Nikkei, the Japanese stock market, got halted. It looks like it's done a double bottom on this 30,000 mark. You know, does it mean the bloodbath's over? We don't know, because the orange man stands up and talks, and it seems that trillions of dollars move around due to that. You know, we did see yield dropping off a cliff. It did make its way under 4% for the 10-year yield. So that's, you know, those are important things to see, as well as the dollar dropping off like a cliff. I think it's a lot of it is just to do with uncertainties. You know, that the markets are very uncertain. And therefore a lot of funds are going into things like gold, although even gold dropping off from this new all-time high 31.69 that it created. You know, it's very uncertain, and we see that with the BTC dominance playing into this as well, that this is where I was saying to pay attention to it to see which way it's going to move, and that this would be kind of the next leg up into this area, possibly rejecting at 64.85 is what I'm seeing. So maybe something like that until we see potential alt season, you know, coming up to the end of the year. It could happen sooner. It could spike and really drop off a cliff, and by, you know, end of June you could see that as well. But we're just gonna kind of stay frosty and you know, just pay attention to what's going on here, because there's some crazy stuff going on, right? So this was something else I said that would potentially break up, that if we saw this would be the bearish scenario. And we saw that kind of play out with this big cup that it formed here and then continued on up. So yeah, I think this is kind of the next level to pay attention to on the tether dominance here would be around the 6.5%. And if it clears that, then we're coming up to this area here. We're at around 7.5%, I would say. And that's pretty close to where I have sort of marked out just on the projection there. So yeah, I mean, things are not looking great, right? We look at the crypto fear and greed. It's been in fear for the last month. Okay, so this is not, and we can see here even on the altcoin season index, it's been Bitcoin season since December 2024. So we had a spike up here, boom, December, and then it's been down only since. But look at where it bottoms, right? Like, look at where it bottoms generally. It's in that area. So, we could continue as low as 1, go down, spike down to the 1. But we can look at this as a trend as well. Although if we did draw a line from this point to this point, it would have just broken that trend. So that doesn't look so great for altcoins. But I would say this is the range for the past few years that we have bottomed out. It did make its way down in 2023 a little bit further, and it did that for a few months. So it looks like, from about April to about July, and then it came out of the woodworks there. So season, month, year. So this is interesting. I haven't actually played around with this yet. If we look at the year, then it's making its way back up. And Bitcoin month as well. Let's try to put that right in the middle. Doesn't look quite as bad for altcoins this way. Let me just switch this page and get our music going again. One more thing to pay attention to is this week is going to be fairly big. FOMC is meeting on Wednesday, and then you have your core CPI, month over month, year over year, and unemployment claims on Thursday, and then PPI on Friday. So alongside all of these tariff concerns and whatnot going on in the market, BTC dominance pumping like crazy, while BTC itself is dumping like crazy. So where do we have some markers here? So I would watch for this low to not get broken. It'd be nicer if we had some charts on a spot. There we go. So that's kind of our basing out area between 75 and 78 that we kind of marked out on these charts a while ago. I know we did some stuff on BLX. And I mean, look at that. It just like, it did the log and then it took off downward. I'm just trying to find out which chart we had the most stuff on. And this is, you can see this, inauguration day was the top of the market. It's been fairly down only ever since. And I mean, I would say that it looks like at some point here, once we fully do bottom out, we're gonna see another big leg up. I don't think that's a cause for concern, or that's not something that's not in my wheelhouse. Like I do believe that later this year or at some point here when things do bottom, when some certainty comes back into the market, maybe when you know, things like rate cuts and things like quantitative easing and the money supply really starts pumping. Although we did see that, I know there is a, I wonder if, I don't think I have that M2. Oh, is that the M2? Do I have that one? Oh, there it is, yeah. So M2 money supply on the breakup here. And it's up only, this thing. So it's about to break out again. I wish I could get back my daily. Why can't I get back my daily? Apparently the monthly and the 3 month is all I get now for this. Interesting. Well, either way, on the monthly it's looking bullish. And this is going to continue climbing. There must be a better M2 money stock. Let's check that. M2SL. Yeah. Right? Like that's what we're seeing, is we're seeing this is up only. Why can't I make it any shorter time frame though? It's kind of crazy. But anyways, on the M2SL by the Federal Reserve, it looks like, you know, 21.8 trillion. So we're just off that. And once it breaks up out of that, you know, I think it's up only from there, right? It was like 22, it really peaked, and then it came down. Not much, to be honest. A lot of people using things like Fartcoin to assess the situation, and you know, this thing turning around, looking like an inverted head and shoulders now. And once this sort of neckline gets broken, I think we see Fartcoin continue pushing on up, and that's going to be a lot of meme AI sort of triggers. Like that's going to tell you whether meme or AI is going to move if you pay attention to Fartcoin. So anyways, guys, I think again we're going to continue up at some point, whether it be now or whether we need to spike down further. We could spike down as low as this this previous high as well. I would not completely sort of rule that out around 73k. It would make sense to even be right down here around 73.6, in line with this sort of touch and breakout area. So that's what I'd be paying attention to for BTC. ETH BTC, like, this is crazy. Is it over for Ethereum? The next low, we'll just move this and this. If it breaks this next low, that's, I don't know what to say. But I know Ethereum people are hurting since 2022. ETH BTC is down 76.5%. So that's crazy. It's back in the lows of 2023. You know, I mean, that's crazy. Sol BTC also not looking very good. So it broke down out of this. You know, we can see our trajectories didn't work there. We still do want to see it kind of come above those when it does move up. But altcoins in general are just looking bare, like they're getting beat down really hard. that's what makes me think that, you know, at some point here soon, there's got to be some form of movement on them upwards, because it's getting crazy at this point. Mind you, the market will stay solvent longer than you can stay sane. So there's that. But yeah, Sol BTC looking like it's heading way back down to here. Potentially 11960 if it continues on being bearish. That's kind of where I would look for this to come back up and make another move. Right, we said this as it broke down out of here, that it wasn't looking very good for Solana on a dominance type of market structure. It's not even doing good against BNB. Like, it's doing bad against everything. Solana down to $100. Okay, this is crazy. This is some crazy-ish. Right, so I mean, we saw this was the trend upwards and it broke down through there. It just continued capitulating. Let's see if we have any markers here on any of our charts. Yeah, it looks like 110 was fairly solid for bouncing, and then it broke through there, so probably 95 for the next move down. And we're down through the danger line. So which one was our danger line? Was this blue guy, right? So it bounced on the danger line, and now it broke it, and it's broken down under this wick low that was created back in August. So at this point, there is definitely lots of danger for Solana. It looks like on this chart we did have marked out 101.84, and that was a place for it to bounce. So let's see, you know, what it does here. Let's see how it holds up. If we're looking at the volume, sort of around, you know, 95 again, 97 to 95 for the next sort of support area. But if that doesn't hold, you know, it could potentially just gap down, sort of, maybe even wick down to about 75 to about 71, and then spike up from there. Sort of V recovery at some point. I think I'm looking at Solana for some big buys here down in the lows, but we're gonna be patient. You know, I'm gonna take this stuff out of here. We want to be patient with what happens next. The funny thing is, look at this projection. Like, if I would have just listened to my own charting analysis, maybe I would have taken out more at this point right here. You know, right around the middle to end of January is when it was a great idea to take some profits on something like Solana. But I posted on my Twitter, I haven't taken any trades, any serious trades recently. You know, I've invested a little bit here and there into some tiny shitcoins, but those aren't trades. Those are just like moon or dust. I'll buy some and see what happens. Of course, if any of y'all are holders of Citadel, GME, Bob, you know, I am a holder of these things, and they are beaten down a lot like the rest of the markets. We can look at their charts, but there's not much to see other than, you know, complete market cycles, like Wall Street cheat sheet type stuff. So a lot of your favorite altcoins are going to be looking just like this. You know, they're going to be looking like this cheat sheet where it's, you know, gone up and come back down all the way. And then this is, I think, where a lot of them are in this depression phase. And next we're going to see, you know, soon enough we'll see the disbelief suckers rally. Then, you know, one last sort of spike down into the same sort of levels that you saw when you were in anger. That's when you'll see hope and optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria. So, I mean, things like Citadel, anger, I think, would have been between 1 and say 2 mil, and so this is kind of this depression point that we're starting to hit right now in Citadel. I think similarly we can see something like that in Bub happening. And GME was actually looking a lot better than a lot of things, because they did announce GME was going to be, GameStop's going to be buying a ton of Bitcoin. So yeah, watch for, because that thing spiked. I think it went up from 10 to 20 mil in one day. So that thing can move pretty quickly, but it does capitulate back down very quickly as well. So just watch what you're doing with it. So anyways, guys, keep an eye on this VIX to come back down and stay underneath this blue line would be ideal. That's when we'll get some more positive sentiment coming in here, because this is crazy. Like, this is super crazy. So even the stock market unwound a whole year of up in a few weeks, right? So could this keep going? Sure, but it looks like this at this point. It looks just like COVID, right? What was COVID? From this peak point, 35.8% down. From this peak point, we're at 21%. And if we did a COVID type drop, it'd take you down to about 4K. That's insane. It's possible, you know, it's totally possible. But I think we're gonna see something more like this rather than something like this. Just because of the speed of the move down. Like, this one took a while and it hurt all the way down, whereas this one's just speed running. Especially if you look in the last week, the weekly candle, that's huge for the S&P, right? So COVID took 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks before it really bottomed. And interestingly enough, like, you would have known COVID was happening at the end of February if you really paid attention. And it was at the point where they were like, all right, COVID's real, 20th of March, that's when things actually started going back up. And they just kept going up. So anyways, guys, that's it. I think I spent enough time rambling on here. I hope you guys got some form of info out of this. We'll check out XRP for the chat real quick. But look at this, like, let's look at it on the weekly. This is coming back down to $1.30. It's gonna drop like a rock at this point. Yeah, that's just what I think. I might be totally wrong, but maybe 160 to 130 is kind of a good place to potentially enter on XRP, although it could even go lower. So kind of between $1.60 and $1. This is the place I would look to accumulate potentially, unless, again, the sooner we see a bounce on Bitcoin, the sooner we'll see a bounce on altcoins. And XRP was looking the best. I know if you looked at XRP, BTC, I don't know if I have that in here, but this was looking the best. Oh yeah, we got it in there. This was looking the best against that BTC, and now it's not. it's looking like it's about to capitulate and break down against BTC big time, which that I would say is fairly dangerous. Everything's getting beat though. Everything's getting beat here. So just look for longer time frames and DCAN, I would say, if you believe in XRP in the long term. I was trading XRP because it was a good trade, but right now it's not looking so good. Like, both of these charts are breaking underneath this low, this capitulation low in February. So I think at least down to 160. Again, if not, it could sort of stair step down to $1. But yeah, that's all for tonight. We'll catch you in the next live stream. I'll try to start doing more of these. I do have sort of some video plans that I have in the works here, and I want to get those out to you guys. So just stay tuned to the channel. We're going to work on getting some more promotions, getting some more things for you guys to be interactive with and potentially get involved in. So just stay tuned to the channel and like, follow, comment, all that sort of fun stuff. Thanks for tuning in again, and have a great week this week.